welcome to day 2 of Digital Week 2020. I wanted to do a quick little day 1 recap and give you folks some insight into what we've been focused on and some of the results we've achieved in the last 24 hours. So we've had over 2,000 registrants for this event. We had sessions yesterday on our continued investments and the results from low code. I think many of you who attended yesterday can see how important low code is to us today, but how important it will be in the future. We also had some highlights of our Domino version 12 release that'll be coming out in the late spring, and we feel as if that is our breakaway release. And finally, Dion Hinchcliffe from Constellation Research and I had a fantastic conversation of some insights that Dion has seen with CIOs across the globe when it comes to digital transformation. Well, let's kick off day 2 here. My name is Richard Jefts, General Manager and Vice President of Digital Solutions at HCL, and I'm fortunate enough to have Wayne Kurtzman here joining me from IDC. Wayne is an expert in social communities and collaboration. Welcome, Wayne. We're super happy to have you today.
Thank you, Richard. Great to be here. Want to go back to about 11 years ago, if I can, where the first time I heard the concept was from Jeff Jarvis, who is a journalist, professor, author, said the internet is a place. Well, the internet is a place, but we've all expanded on it. The internet now is a place where we collaborate, we learn, we act, react, we transact, and we affect transactions, and we do it in real time. In 2020, we learned the internet is a place. Ironically, we also learned work may not be a place. So to help everyone, IDC put together a 5-stage enterprise recovery model that may be able to get us into that next stage. If you take a look at the bottom left, economic situations are along the bottom. The top, business focus. 2 things to pay attention to on this is, number 1, no, we don't expect it to be U-shaped like that. And number 2, no, there are no years or months along the x-axis. This represents a basic natural business crash recovery cycle. So in that first stage on the bottom left, business continuity, this represents how businesses reacted to the crisis that came about with COVID-19 and largely focuses on business continuity. It also focuses on recognizing hyper-volatility in business is part of the new normal. And that means redoing business continuity plans, just change the way companies are working. At the same time, just trying to stay in business. Right now, we see 15% globally, businesses, that's that center number, 15% of businesses say they're there. On the left, 20% is North America, 24% EMEA businesses say that they are there. This is in October 2020. The next stage is the economic slowdown. Here, things are really slowed down. Organizations are in cost optimization mode, and they're looking to technologies that can manage the hardships a little bit. 26% globally still say they are in this area. In the next stage, the business resiliency stage, the focus is just on that, building business resiliency. And by that, I mean the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Remediation actions are taken, and now there's a little bit of a look toward the next outcome and the next way of doing businesses. This is also an important point to remember. With 19% of businesses here, they're recognizing that there will be no awards for analog transformation. It's time to go digital. And that really reflects in the return to growth, the focus on technologies that advance digital capabilities in an organization. Some of the newer numbers now, 22% showing companies identifying as being in return to growth, similar in North America and EMEA. And then up at the top, the next normal. This is where organizations come out. They're operating in a new type of economy. The next normal is the beginning of the digital economy. We're not taking stuff from paper and old processes and putting it on computer. it is changing the way we work, the way we communicate, the way we collaborate. 18% of businesses globally say they're there, 14% North America, 7% in EMEA. By the way, in APAC, 57% of businesses where COVID's impact was mitigated a bit by advanced systems that they needed earlier, showing that they are already operating in the next normal or reporting that. So where do you start? Where do you start? I know it's a little bit in, but it is communications have been the number one problem. On the next slide, that difficulty communicating has been something that we've been fighting since before we were on the internet at work. Inefficient and manual processes, sometimes even unnecessary, difficulty communicating or collaborating with internal colleagues or external stakeholders. So after all these years, we're still dealing that same fight, but ironically, we're not, because consumers with smartphones, when they need to know something, they look it up. When they need to communicate, they download an app. When they need to collaborate to make their life easier, they'll download an app, and they'll keep on trying apps with their friends, with their stakeholders, with the nonprofits or NGOs that they're working with, just to make life easier and more productive. So they already are connected and collaborating, and when they get to work, these connected consumers become connected workers. And often, they'll bring in solutions to work. 56% of all collaborative applications start as unauthorized applications, which is a little ironic because on the next slide, we find that 62% of business leaders say that among their biggest challenges in digital transformation, and this is when they had the big, glorious 10-year transformation plans that all happened in March, that consumer expectations are way ahead of our company's ability to change. Consumer expectations are way ahead of our company's ability to change. So if you can't change for your consumers and you can't change for your clients, you're kind of in trouble. This is kind of where we are. When COVID hit, we were between the old way and new way of doing things. On the next slide, thank you. But when COVID hit, something wild happened. The connected workers who are doing it the new way and the digital laggards that are attached to the old way, they started meshing in a new way. And as a result, the adoption of collaborative technologies accelerated by 5 years, just in the first 6 months of this year. That meant that we would normally be waiting for 2025, 2026 before we saw people adopting the technologies. The connected workers were mentoring those who were not yet using these technologies, and they found a reason to do it. And that allowed that slingshot ahead. So where did they start? They started by mitigating risk with a collaborative stacking culture all built around security, governance, and compliance. And the first 3 layers in a communications layer that became important were messaging, conferencing, and team collaboration applications. Let us do people things. Talk with each other, both informally and in business settings. Message each other to keep work short and put our stuff together. The next was the content layer. This is where the office suites and the file sharing were together. And if a company did not provide these 5 items, employees brought them in because they already know what worked for them. They were bringing in, so IT sometimes would rely on them to see what worked, and that helped build the next layer, the productivity layer. This is kind of a secret sauce of collaboration, where integrations create superpowers with work management, systems of record integration, even your MarTech stack and ML and AI. These add extra layers of power to the other steps before by removing steps, removing copying and pasting. The integrations are key. Low code becomes a superpower in this productivity layer, and a very flexible one. But this is the collaborative stack, the other side of the collaborative culture that starts with trust and openness. You need to create a safe place for people to share their best ideas, or they won't. They'll hold them in. So you need to create that place for convergent and divergent ideas and accept some ideas need assembly. Mentoring and modeling become big, especially at the peer level. This frees up IT, by the way, too, but when you have not a manager, but a peer mentoring and modeling of behavior and answering questions, how do you do this? It works much better. It has for a long, long time, a long best practice. So then mentoring and modeling, but also cross-silo membership. The reason org charts maybe have been accurate for their first 5 minutes, they need to bring in the subject matter experts from different regions and different departments to add value, to build this collaborative stack. You need to treat collaboration like you're setting up an organization in real life with onboarding and communication and trust and openness. The internet is a place. This is where you treat it just like a real place. And you're not just communicating internally, but with external and internal collaboration is the next normal. We asked recently, how important is internal and external collaboration when selecting a team collaboration tool? Roughly 75% said they're the same. Internal and external collaboration are now important, and our research earlier this year showed, in fact, it's the norm at about that same rate. But are IT and companies spending the money? Well, most worldwide businesses are investing in team collaboration. We asked them, through 2021, what will you invest in to bring technology parity to all your members of the workforce? And by technology parity, IDC means enabling every member of the workforce to utilize any device they have and attach to all the tools they need securely. And at the top, team collaboration solutions. It is the new way of working. 96% of North American businesses, 56% of worldwide, which also was the top vote getter there. Management and security, video conferencing, 90%. In North America, 53% globally. And by the way, if you're dealing with companies in North America, you're going to have to adopt these new ways of working too. Team collaboration has been the go-to technology. On the next slide, some recent research. How much does the average user engage with these platforms? We found that there's that line, several times a day, several times per hour, and even 7% several times per half hour. On the whole, 96% of U.S. users are on the platform several times a day. 84% of worldwide collab users use it at least several times a day. It is replacing meetings. It is replacing a number of elements. But where are these benefits? If we quantify them, and we did just that on the next slide, at the beginning of the year, so just before the pandemic, the benefits are ranging widely depending on where they are, but some had recurrent themes. The ability to access real-time information, so they're not working on things that have been canceled, changed, or moved. Increased personal and group productivity and saving time. And the bottom one of the top 5 are feeling more informed and connected. IDC does a lot of technology research. We do not see feels like or feels more come up often as a top contender. And this becomes more important now that we're post-COVID and we're dealing with the reaction of COVID. The ability to feel more informed and connected was important before people were working from home. It's going to be much more important now, and collaboration has a key benefit and a key player in that. And the more you can integrate into the collaboration stack, the easier it is, the less copy and paste, the less redoing work, the easier it is to connect your workforce regardless where they are, even when it becomes hybrid with people back in work and people in the field. So to summarize, there are 5 stages of enterprise recovery. The goal is to flatten the curve. The way you do it is knowing collaboration is not just technical, but rather it is the cultural willingness to share and win as a team using the right technology and the assumption that everyone can add value. So on that next slide, we're going to underscore that there is a need for a communications layer, a content layer, productivity layer to give it the superpowers, that trust and openness, modeling and mentoring, and the whole team, all the subject matter experts from all over. It takes a connected team to succeed this year and every year with digital transformation going forward. Thank you very much. Have a great HCL Digital Week. Richard?
Thank you, Wayne. You and I have known each other for quite some time, and collaboration has been, core to your focus and frankly, my focus from a work perspective. And, we've been talking about these types of things for so long. And it really does feel to me there was the key statement that you said of, the way we worked has really changed. And I think for us at HCL, we've really seen that over the last 9 months. And I think a lot of that is working from home, but also I think this event itself is another great example of how you can actually cascade your message, connect to your teams, your customers, and how important collaboration is, as you noted, not just from a technology perspective, but as a key driver around culture and how to enable your organization. So, Wayne, as always, I really appreciate the insights that you provided there. This is always top of mind for myself. That old adage or that myth of people not being able to work from home, I think the reality is they're more than capable to work from home and work from anywhere, as you noted, whether, it's on a plane, in an airport, a hotel, or at home. So again, thank you very much, Wayne. Always insightful and greatly appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, why don't we jump into our slides here? And first and foremost, I think, Wayne, for me, your last slide really reinforces that the importance of collaboration and of how it really impacts your culture is critical to many companies' success. And first, that last slide reminds me of a quote from a modern-day disruptive leader. Many of you would know Brian Chesky, who's the co-founder and CEO of Airbnb. And really what he stated resonated for me around the importance of culture, around the importance of collaboration, and the importance of technology. And his statement was all around a company's culture is the foundation for innovation. And an entrepreneur's job is to build that foundation. And from our perspective, and Wayne, I think you reinforced this message earlier, is technology is only one aspect of who you are as a business. And it really reinforces the importance of a company's culture. And I'd say for us here at HCL Digital Solutions, we have an evolving culture. We've had over the last 2 years significant acquisitions from IBM, from Temenos with the Quantum product, as well as just the overall impact of COVID-19. And it really has reinforced to us the importance of engaging our teams and our customers, empowering them with best-in-class tools. And my favorite one, and you noted this, Wayne, is all about encouraging them to take risks and break down boundaries. These are all key aspects of how to create that culture of innovation, and they really do reinforce the importance of connecting. So let me show you what I mean, and let me talk a little bit about our portfolio and how a lot of the things that you were talking about, Wayne, with those pillars align very nicely with what we're doing today, but also where we're going in the future. So first and foremost, let's talk about the franchise. Let's talk about Domino. And we continue our investments in Domino. As many of you may know, over the last 2 years, we've delivered version 10, version 11, and in the very near future, late spring, we will be delivering Domino version 12, our breakaway release. And when we think about Domino, I know we've spent a lot of time around applications, and it really is what made Domino great in the core of Domino. However, it is important for all of you to know that we continue to invest in notes and verse from an email and messaging side. And frankly, our R&D team under the leadership of Jason Gary is working on some prototypes of different ways of leveraging email. And that is also coming soon, and we'll be sharing that with our customers and partners. I think that email is primed to be reinvented, and this is an opportunity where we believe we need to be making investments, and it's an area that customers really need some future innovation. I also want to talk about Same Time. We are incredibly excited about Same Time Premium. The work we've done on that portfolio, re-architecting it, rebuilt from the ground up. We are very focused on cloud native for Same Time and allowing our customers to control your meeting, your data, and frankly, the ability to control those runaway SaaS costs that are occurring for many people with their meetings today. Many companies today have multiple meeting solutions, and those costs are becoming more and more exuberant, and companies are starting to look at that and figure out, is there a best-in-class tool to use, and how do I manage my costs accordingly? This, for us, Same Time, is that direction, and for us, it really is all about it's your meeting, your choice. Connections is an area that we've made significant investments in the last year. I'm incredibly excited about what we've done with Connections version 7. We've heard from our customers around trying to drive simplification within the portfolio. We've built some beautiful, beautiful templates to allow our customers to get started much easier. We've also heard you loud and clear around your needs for integration and working better together with Microsoft products. So you've seen a big shift from us of positioning ourselves into much more of a federated, integrated option with Microsoft products. And we now have a seamless journey from a Teams experience into a communities experience, into a template, and then frankly, our investments again in cloud native and Connections allows you to simply upgrade, containerize all of your infrastructure. You are also going to hear this week our foray into the digital office. Project Yuzu is the investments we've been making around proof of concepts and R&D around the new way of working. And it's not just about this meeting. This meeting is one example of many of us sit in these meetings today, but it really comes down to what is the action and the activities after the meeting. Frankly, that's where a lot of the work gets done. So we've been looking at different scenarios of how to seamlessly customize, brand your meetings to make that experience like your true digital office, but also how do I seamlessly go from a meeting into an activity, into a project, into, frankly, a deal room or something like that where you're seamlessly moving and starting to actually do the work. So I do think it is important to note, again, it's not just about the technology. It's really how we at HCL Digital Solutions are helping companies empower your employees, your customers, driving culture, and breaking down knowledge silos to better connect. Now, let me give you a couple examples what I mean that it's not just about the technology. So let's talk about these three customers. And before I go there, Wayne, you keyed on one of your key data points. And for me, when I first saw that data point, I said to myself, geez, this is really telling. And it was all about that data point. 62% of business leaders said that among their biggest challenges in digital transformation was that consumers' expectations are way ahead of our company's ability to change, right? And that is an important thing for us all to know is that we are in catch-up mode and we need to move fast, right, Wayne? And it's all about speed, it's about agility and scaling. And we have seen this with numerous clients over the last couple of years, especially this year where business transformation wasn't just desired, but it was really needed, right? Just think about that. That is the big difference between where we are today and where we were a year ago this time. So I wanted to share a couple examples, and let me talk you through this. So the one on the left, I think this is a compelling story around our culture. And frankly, the team that I'm going to be talking about here, knows who they are. They really stepped up for this customer and rose to the occasion, which is the type of culture we have here at HCL Digital Solutions, is putting our customers first. So the example I have for you here is we had a customer in Europe where at the time they had some challenges ahead of them. And they were working as of April around an announcement they had made around support funding for families in the country that they were working in. And they wanted to do the right thing for these families during COVID-19 and provide them with some funding to allow them to work through the current challenges that many of us were having and are having at that point. Well, what ended up happening there was there were at one point over 100,000 pending requests for this funding. And only at that time, 7,000 of them were completed. So there's a significant backlog. And this company had been working with another partner, and there had been numerous challenges, and they just couldn't get the application built. Well, we were fortunate enough that our team in that country had a fantastic relationship with this customer. The customer reached out to us. We spent about 3 days with them, talking to them about the applications that they wanted to build. And we learned very quickly it wasn't just one application to work through the backlog that they needed, but in reality, they needed another application to handle the new requests as well. And so what we did as a team, within 2 weeks, the team delivered the required application built on Volt. It went live, and it helped remove those pending requests in that backlog. We were also able to actually deliver the second application in that 2-week period as well. And for me, this is one key aspect, and you had mentioned this again, Wayne, as we've discussed. Fast is never fast enough. And in this scenario, we moved as fast as we could, and we felt like it reinforced to this customer how important they were to us. So let me talk about the second one here. We have a large U.S.-based bank that leverages our technology. And this banking customer in the U.S., they knew they needed to engage their employees in order to drive a culture of change and to better engage and empower their teams. They were looking for a platform that allowed them to do this, and they chose Connections. This allowed them to connect with their employees, and I know that this customer is incredibly interested in not only our new templates in version 7, but as well as the integrations with Microsoft. And there was one comment that was made by this customer that really stood out for me. And it really was, they were encouraging social learning, recognition, ideation, innovation, and open communication. All of those things that you were talking about, Wayne, within that collaboration pillar. And I'm sure this resonates for you because this is a key thing that I'm sure many of the customers are talking to you about today as well. And then finally, let me wrap up on the third one. We also had another customer in Europe who had a highly secure and GDPR requirements, and they had some challenges around meetings. We were fortunate enough at that time, HCL, same time, Premium was a beta, and this was in the June timeframe. And we were able to actually get this up and running for this customer within days, where they were leveraging same time Premium to meet their requirements, engage with their employees, as well as the key constituents within their country. And we were able to meet these requirements quickly and seamlessly. These all represent to me more than technology. It represents the outcomes that these customers were looking for. And I personally, for me, it also represented how our teams engaged with these customers as more than a vendor, but as a trusted partner. So please, if you want to go to the next slide, please come and join us and learn more about our portfolio. With Same Time Premium, it's your data, your meeting. You get to control your costs and so much more. Come to the HCL Connections 7 session today. We've delivered again on our commitments around better together, as well as improvements to the overall user experience. We have an amazing day planned ahead with focus on low code and Domino Volt, the digital office, our digital experience with DXP, and some new additions to our portfolio that we're excited to announce today with Volt MS, which is the former Quantum Temenos product. I'm looking forward, Wayne, to an amazing day. We have some great information that we're going to share. We have a couple more days of technical sessions, customer discussions, demos, and more discussions with our partners and researchers and analysts. So I'm looking forward to another exciting day. And as always, Wayne, thank you for your amazing insights. We look forward to partnering with you as well for our future strategy and vision, and I look forward to our future discussions. Thank you to everyone on the line. I'm looking forward to an amazing day, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.